This is round one of the Cornerstone tournament event that we held in Portland, Oregon at FAB Foundry. It was a 24 participant tournament, and then we did top cut, top 8 cut at the end. But this is the first round, and we recorded table 1 for the first rounds here. Up top, we have a player that plays in Portland frequently, Griff, playing Pathfinder, and at the bottom of the screen is another local Steve playing Druid. So right now they're working out mulligans, and another thing to note for this tournament, we were using the second player Seer rule. It's an unofficial tournament rule so far, but it's been used in the online league, and the competitive players seem to like it. It basically just allows the player who's going second to look at the top of one of their decks and choose whether or not to keep it on top or to send it to the bottom. So it gives the second player a little bit more control in setting up their opening hands as a trade-off for not getting that first play. Steve on the play, looks like he plays Desert, no ping targets for first turn, summons Tawny, passes turn. Griff, using the Pathfinder ability, tapping for a sight. It looked like it was a smokestack. And no turn 1 play is going to pass. Steve readying his turn again, drawing a spell. Gonna see what that second sight is now. Second sight is a Funeral Pyre in the middle, and playing a Vile Imp. Again, I can't take advantage of that Genesis, unfortunately, but I think he just wants to get presence on the board to set up for a future turn. Griff looks like he pulled a Desert, which was is advantageous. He's going to play that to the center. It'll ping Tawny for him. He's got 2 mana. And actually, the Desert shouldn't have pinged Tawny because it would be inactive from the smokestacks, looking at the board state now. And I'm not sure if they caught that or not. It looks like they didn't. Griff looks like he didn't have a play. Steve's turn, he's going to play Poison Well. That'll hit Griff for 1 point of damage. Resummons Tawny. And again, Tawny technically shouldn't have died to the Desert, but when you're playing the game and you don't catch some of those things, you just play with the board state that both players agree to during the game. Steve moved up with the Vile Imp for 2 points, attacking the site for 2 points of damage. Passing turn back to Griff. Griff playing a site for the Pathfinder. Looks like it was just a wasteland. And looks like now they're figuring out that the Desert would have been inactive because of the smokestack play. So they're having a discussion about that, about what to do with that. I think that Griff offered to roll that back and have Tawny, still be alive on the pyre, and potentially have attacked the previous turn, which is likely the play that Steve would have done. Okay. Yeah, he's they're rewinding it back as if Tawny had still been alive. So on the turn that the Violent attacked, we're just assuming that Tawny attacked the desert as well, for an additional point of damage in. I think that's where they're landing on that. So a little muddled, but I think they're coming to an agreement on what the game state should be now. Steve just double checking that site, see what it is. It's just a wasteland, so it's a vanilla site anyways. It doesn't have an ability to deactivate from the smokestack, but it doesn't hurt the check. So now we're going to proceed with Griff's turn. He had 3 mana from just playing the wasteland. He is playing a Colicky to ping Tawny at end of turn, and it looks like he ultimately decided to summon it to the desert site. Presumably summoning it to the desert site so it can defend against anywhere that the Vile Imp can attack on the next turn. We can see a quick peek at Steve's hand. He has a fire breathing in his hand. It looks like he's contemplating whether or not he wants to spend that now in some way to maybe take out the Colicky. If there's a way that he could do that. I don't think that he's set up to do that this turn since he lost Tawny. And I believe that fire breathing costs 4 mana to cast. But he's thinking long and hard about it. He's got some other removal in his hand. I see at least a disintegrate in his hand as well. And for sights, it looks like he has his own smokestack in hand too. He's tapping for a sight. He's going to play out that smokestack, which is not a bad position, since depending on where Griff wants to go with the Pathfinder next turn, it will turn off the effect of the smokestack of his sight if he chooses to play it adjacent to the smokestack. Tawny summons. Steve using a disintegrate. I think that is technically a misplay, which is not a legal move. I think the disintegrate target has to be nearby the caster. And it looks like they didn't catch that, so we're just going to continue on with the game state as it is. Griff gets his 4th sight out and attacking with the Monstrous Lion to take out the Violimp. Passing turn back to Steve. I think that's a Rebex in Steve's hand. He doesn't have a sight in hand, so he wouldn't be able to get it out this turn. I would imagine that he is going to tap Druid for a sight, to draw a sight. And he's eyeing that fire breathing again. He does have the mana to cast it now. He's at 4. And he does have a spellcaster that could move up into position, Tawny. So Tawny could fly to the wasteland, and then he could spend fire breathing to take out that lion. The lion's not an immediate threat now, but it could be in a turn or two. Oh, it looks like Steve didn't draw a card for turn yet, so he chose to draw a sight instead. And then tapped to bring that out. And now he's bringing Tawny up, and I assume he's going to use that fire breathing. Okay, there's the fire breathing. So removing that threat from the board preemptively, and then passing turn back. Griff playing another site from the Pathfinder. It looks like it is a... Is that treetop hideout? That'll give him his first... I want to say that's his first air threshold. 5 mana for a Panorama mana core. So 5 power body on the board, which is good presence, and passing turn back. Griff getting boxed in with the Pathfinder, so he's going to have to use some movement trick to continue on and boost his mana base over 6 if he needs it. But for Pathfinder decks, you usually have movement tricks to get around that and do that. So that's probably why he has an air threshold in his decks. Likely he has like grapple shots or blinks. Steve attacking with Tawny for a point. Griff opting not to block with the Manticore, probably because he doesn't want to get out of position on it. And then Steve playing out a Phoenix. And the Phoenix is tough for Griff, just because it's not going to take any damage from fire sources. And I would imagine that the majority of his deck is fire-based. So it's going to be a tough play to deal with unless he has some other type of removal. Like if he had a Disintegrate of his own and got into position, he could take care of it that way. And it's unfortunate because you can't really do anything with the Manticore now, just because the Manticore has Airborne and the Phoenix has Airborne. Anywhere that he wants to move with the Manticore, the Phoenix can potentially block on Steve's sights there. So there's one of those movement tricks that Pathfinder needs in order to keep on going and not get boxed in on sites. And there's another one that would have been a potential. So Siege Giant to throw the Pathfinder, Blink to move the Manticore, and get a strike for 5 points in onto the desert where the Phoenix cannot defend. Steve looks like he drew a spell for turn. It looks like a red cap. I think he's counting his mana base. He's got five mana at the moment with a sight in hand. It looks like a bonfire. He's going to tap for a 6th sight. And again, moving up, I think just trying to clip the potential amount of sights that Pathfinder can ultimately lay down here. He's looking at his options. I mean, he's got that red cap. Red cap is a guaranteed 3 points of damage this turn. Grim Kasame onto the Phoenix. I think that's 8 points, like 4 doubled. Tawny swings for 1, where the giant can't defend. Red cap. red cap to door. And I think technically, I mean, the giant could defend the red cap there. I think maybe just, I think Griff got caught up in the moment and didn't think about that, didn't realize that. There were some other site placement options though, that Steve could have gone with the red cap to secure a door anyways. Like he could have attacked from his smokestack up, or he could have attacked from the funeral pyre up to the desert. So not the worst misplay. There were other avenues to get the same effect. Griff in a bad position right now though, at door, and Steve commanding a lead with 15 life at this point. He's still got the Manticore. He's still got the Manticore. At this point, though, he kind of needs to. He needs to remove Tawny from the board, remove that threat from flying in, and securing that last death point. He could move away from Tawny. I mean, he could use his... he forgot to untap his Pathfinder. Pathfinder is untapped right now, so he could use the ability to move one square away into the corner, I think. That's another solution. The Infernal Legion is going to do a lot of work for him there. It's going to remove... it's going to remove Tawny and the red caps at the end of turn. He's going to move up his Siege Giant, which will survive the Legion at the end of turn. So at the end of the turn, the Legion goes off. It deals 3 points of damage to everything adjacent, every unit adjacent to it. And I think he also flew down with the Manticore and attacked for 5 points of damage on the site. So Griff doing his best to stabilize here. He still has that Phoenix, which, I mean, like, the Phoenix could eventually rip through everything on the board. But Steve needs to round out the game. Otherwise, there's a good chance that he's going to get taken to door, just with the threat of the Legion and the Manticore alone. I mean, on this turn, the Phoenix could take out the Siege Giant and remove that piece from the board. Steve, I don't think he's drawn a card yet. I think he's got one card in hand, and I don't know why he's debating. He might have been debating whether or not to draw a site and hope for a desert, but actually, well, no, the desert would only ping minions. Instead, he drew a site. He got his kill spell. It was a red cap to charge in for the last point of damage. A couple of misplays in that game, but they played with the board state that they agreed to, since they didn't catch some things. And it was a fun game to watch, and we'll move on to round 2 of this tournament.